Hi there! Today's tutorial is on Warrior Pose 2, Virabhadrasana 2. This is a hip opener and involves the external rotation of the femur. So it strengthens and stretches out the legs and the ankles. It is a strength and flexibility pose like all the other warrior poses. So let me first start with a demonstration of this pose. We're going to start in mountain pose, Tadasana. So we have our feet hip width apart. And so now we're going to step the right foot backwards at 90 degrees. So if you feel like you need to widen your stance, please do so. Okay. And the front heel is aligned with the middle of the arch of the back foot. You can test it out if you like, but when you bend the front leg, you want to make sure that knee doesn't go over the heel. Okay, and so if you're fine with this position, we're gonna inhale and bring our arms up and bend the legs. Keep your shoulders down, engage your glutes, lift the back kneecap, keep your neck lengthened and look towards the front arm. Ideally, you should be able to bring your front leg to 90 degrees. Use your abs and relax. Now, let me talk about common mistakes in this position. As you might have known, the one most common mistake is where the front knee exceeds the front heel, almost like that, where you go deeper into the bend for the front leg, and then your feet are not wide apart, and then your knee exceeds the front heel, as you see. So one way to adjust this is where you distance yourself, you distance the feet in the right distance that you need. If you know you can lower down very much with the front leg, if you have the flexibility and mobility to do so, then give yourself that space to do it, okay? So one other very common mistake actually is where the front knee internally rotates. So the knee, instead of staying aligned on top of the front heel, it rotates inwards internally, and then students start to do something like that. Of course, I'm exaggerating, but it happens because we, as humans, our bodies, our internal rotators are stronger than our external rotators. So oftentimes we have to work so much more to work on the external rotation of the arms. And it's very obvious when you start doing, for example, back bends, because like the wheel pose, students tend to do this because it's so much harder to externally rotate. And that happens the same for, let's say, pincha, forearm stand. It's so much easier for students to do this because it is more like an internal rotation instead of an external rotation where you're doing with your hands actually parallel to each other, forming a square. So it's the same thing. So the knee closing inwards in an internal rotation instead of keeping it out in an external rotation. Okay, just be aware of it. And then it might make it easier if you actually shorten your stance. So if it's too difficult for you to go so much lower with the feet so wide apart, just bring your feet closer together. You don't need to bring your front leg down to 90 degrees if that's too difficult. You can bring it down to here, and that's good enough. Squeeze your glutes, lift the kneecap, and use your muscles, your quads, and also squeeze your abs, keep your torso up. Okay, this is a valid position. You don't need to go so much lower down, okay? So another thing is sometimes, I know this actually takes experience and body awareness. Instead of keeping the torso upright, students might be doing slightly tilting slightly forward or even backwards, and then of course the arms go out of alignment as well. And it looks less aesthetically pleasing, but at the same time, yoga, this is a very big topic in yoga. Are the poses better if they are more aesthetically pleasing? But of course, we're not covering this in this video. So if you're aware that you're doing any modifications with your torso, keep your torso upright and your arms aligned as much as you're aware of, okay? Instead of, or even your shoulders. It's one most common thing because of all the tension and stress from life, work, and probably even family of students. So your shoulders flare up, something like that, okay? So just keep it down. Breathe, focus on the breath. Keep your heel aligned, your knee aligned above the heel. So now let's talk about this alignment. I mentioned that, okay, the front heel has to be aligned with the middle of the arch of the back foot. But as we all know, no one has a perfect body. The perfect body doesn't exist. So how can there be a single alignment that works for everyone? And in yoga, of course, in yoga teacher trainings, they teach us only one specific alignment. So anyway, we are here. What I think should be the way to be is to do what feels best for the body. If this alignment doesn't work for you, just move around, adjust it, see how you feel. If you need to move your heel further forward, just try it and see how it makes you feel, okay? If it makes you feel better, why not do it? You still get stronger in the process, you stretch out your legs, so no harm done. Just listen to your body. If you feel pain, of course, that's not the right alignment for you. So if the traditional classic alignment causes you pain, so you have to work around it and find something that works for you, okay? So that applies as well to the 90-degree foot angle, because of course this is the ideal angle that yoga schools teach. But at the end of the day, if you need to adjust, modify, please listen to your body, because you only have one body and only you know your body best. Okay, so this is the end of this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and I hope to see you for the next one. Namaste.